Hello friends, welcome on 100 on 100 in Eco platform. Today's session I will be taking on elasticity of demand, and I will be starting with the introduction of this chapter, and I will be covering up the five categories of elasticity of demand which are there for standard 10th ICSE. Similarly, it is there for 12th standard ISC also, 12th standard HSC also, CBSE standard 10th also. So this particular concept is common for most of the economics of standard 10th and 12th. So let us get started with understanding what is elasticity of demand. Students, in the demand chapter we learnt about the direction of demand with respect to price. We learned that as price rises, demand falls, and as price falls, demand rises. So if we only learnt about the direction or the movement in which the demand flows with change in price. We did not actually measure by how much quantity or by how much proportion or percentage would the demand change with a certain percentage change in price, or like we did not actually calculate the magnitude of change in demand when price changed. In elasticity of demand, we are going to learn that. So why elasticity of demand? Elasticity of demand is very important for government, for the producer, for the industrialists, for the entrepreneurs, for us also to understand to a certain extent what is the elasticity of demand for a particular commodity. For example, by elasticity we mean flexibility, a capacity to increase and decrease. We say that it is elastic. So some of the commodities demand is elastic, some of the commodities demand is not elastic. So depending upon the consumers, demand happens from the consumer side. So depending upon the elasticity of demand that happens from the consumer side, the producer and the government can take decisions or make policy decisions with respect to the pricing, taxation, and costing of the product, and so on and so forth, hiring of the factors of production, and so on and so forth. So for any production unit, it's very important for the producer to understand the elasticity of demand. For the government also, it's very important to understand the elasticity of demand. For example, if government has to impose tax on a particular commodity, you know that commodities are taxed, there is a component called GST. If government imposes tax on a commodity which has elastic demand, then what will happen? The demand being elastic, what I mean to say is it is sensitive to price. So when the price changes, the demand falls. Rises when the demand, then the demand would fall. So with the imposition of tax, the price will further rise and the demand will drop by a lot of magnitude. And then the government's objective of collecting revenue through GST will be defeated. So what I'm trying to say, the government's decision on whether to tax a commodity or to, if at all they have to tax, to what extent they should tax, will depend upon the consumer's behavior as far as elasticity of demand is concerned. The producer will also have to take a decision of costing, hiring factors of production, profit margin, etc., depending upon the elasticity of demand for the commodity with which he is dealing. Okay, having understood the little bit of background, we will understand what is elasticity of demand. How do we define it? Elasticity of demand can be defined as a measure that explains us the percentage change in the quantity demanded with respect to percentage change in price, or the sensitivity of demand. In actually by calculation, it gives us the percentage change in demand when a certain percentage change in price is given. The higher the change in demand as compared to price, we would say it is elastic. The lesser the change in demand, meaning the more the price changes, but compared to that lesser the change in demand, we say it is inelastic. Okay, so depending on the how the demand changes with the change in price, there would be different categories of elasticity. Let's take a look at the formula. We say that there is a formula for calculation of elasticity of demand which says ED, elasticity of demand, is equal to Percentage change in the quantity demanded divided by percentage change in price. It's just a ratio. It's a ratio of a proportionate change in the quantity demanded to proportionate change in price. Remember, it is not the reverse way. We are not learning how price changes when quantity changes is wrong. We are learning how quantity demanded changes when price changes. To go a little bit into detail, the formula is explained further or derived further. Delta Q upon delta P multiplied by P upon Q. Delta Q indicates a change in the quantity, meaning you must have been given two quantities, the old quantity and the new quantity, along with the change in price, the old price and the new price. So, as the price would change, the quantity demanded must have been given to you. The difference in the quantity demanded is denoted by delta Q. The difference in the price is denoted by delta P. There's a ratio of that multiplied by the price in the numerator and the quantity in the denominator of the original quantity, of the original value. And thus you can get ED. You don't have the numericals, but though you will have to remember this particular formula. Having understood that, we will see what are the 5 categories of elasticity of demand. We have perfectly elastic demand, perfectly inelastic demand, unit elastic demand and inelastic demand. Now you will say, Miss, there is perfectly elastic and elastic and perfectly inelastic and inelastic. What's the difference? So let's go one by one. Perfectly elastic demand can be defined as when the quantity demanded changes to a great extent or infinite extent with a small or no change in price. We call it as perfectly elastic demand. That means at the same price, quantity demanded can go on increasing infinitely, and therefore we get a horizontal demand curve. That means if this is the price and if this is the quantity demanded, it can go up to infinite at the same price, and therefore it becomes perfectly elastic. At the same price, it can go along the x-axis back and forth, increase and decrease to a larger or smaller extent, as much as you cannot, it will go up to infinite. The value of ED in case of perfectly elastic demand is infinite, because the percentage change in the quantity demanded comes to a huge value, whereas percentage change in price is 0, and anything upon 0 will give you infinity. Therefore, perfectly elastic demand is a horizontal line parallel to x-axis and the ED value is 0. You have to learn to describe the curve, which is a horizontal line parallel to x-axis. Perfectly inelastic demand is can be defined as when the quantity demanded does not change at all with a change in price. Then it is called as perfectly inelastic demand. So as you know, here in case of perfectly inelastic demand, quantity demanded is not going to change, it's going to remain there only at two different prices also, P1 and P2. You can see that even if the price changes, the quantity demanded remains the same, and therefore you get a vertical curve. So how do you describe this curve? A perfectly inelastic demand is a vertical curve parallel to y-axis, and the ED value becomes 0. As percentage change in quantity demanded is 0, but in the denominator you have some percentage change in price, but 0 divided by anything will give you 0. Therefore, ED value becomes 0. I repeat, perfectly elastic demand curve is parallel to x-axis, that is horizontal. Perfectly inelastic demand curve is vertical parallel to y-axis. Coming to elastic demand. Elastic demand can be defined as when the quantity demanded changes to a larger extent as compared to the changes in price, we term it as elastic demand. Or you can define it as alternatively, when the percentage change in the quantity demanded is greater than the percentage change in price, we term it as elastic demand. In this case, what happens is, you get a flatter demand curve. How do you describe the demand curve? It's flatter. Why flatter? Because the quantity demanded, which is going to be plotted along the x-axis, is going to change to a larger extent with small change in price. So you know that it's going to be flexible along the x-axis, and therefore it becomes flatter. If I have to show you that, if I take this price and if I take another, this P1, and if I take another price P2, I connect it to the demand curve, you can see there's a huge change in the quantity demanded. The change in the quantity demanded is much larger than the change in the price. This is only this much, and this is so much. So I can say that in case of elastic demand, the demand curve is flatter and the value of ED is greater than 1. Why? Because percentage change in the quantity demanded is larger. When you have a numerator bigger than the denominator, the value naturally you will get is more than 1. As against that, if you compare inelastic demand, in case of inelastic demand, the definition says that when the percentage change in the quantity demanded is smaller than the percentage change in price, that means the change in price is more, but the change in quantity demanded is lesser as compared to that. We call it an inelastic demand, and you get a vertical, little steeper curve. Not vertical, it's a little steeper curve. So you can see, if I take the same distance in price, P1 and P2, there will be hardly any change in the quantity demanded. As you can see, the change in the price is a lot, but the change in the quantity demanded is small. So remember, elastic demand curve you get flatter, but in elastic demand curve you get steeper. The value of ED in case of elastic demand is greater than 1. The value of ED in case of inelastic demand curve is less than 1. And coming to the last one, unit elastic demand. Unit elastic demand can be defined as when the percentage change in the quantity demanded is equal to the percentage change in price, we term it as unit elastic demand. Here you get a curve, actual curve. It is known as rectangular hyperbola. Why it is known as rectangular hyperbola? Because you take any point along this particular curve, join it to x and y axis, you will get a rectangle. The area of a rectangle such drawn at 2 different points or 3 different points will give you the same area measurement, and therefore it is termed as rectangular hyperbola. For example, you can see the area of this particular rectangle and the area of this particular rectangle would be the same. This is a special feature of rectangular hyperbola, and it is equidistant away from x and y axis. It leaves x axis and y axis at an equal distance, and therefore only you get the rectangular area equal if you take 2 different points along the same curve. And the value of ED here is 1, because the numerator and denominator is the same. The percentage change in quantity is equal to the percentage change in price. So you get ED equal to 1. We shall take up the examples to be solved under these categories in the next session.